NFL. Trevor Lawrence officially signed his rookie contract, officially inked his rookie deal to be the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the number 1 overall pick. Signed his rookie contract, $36.8 million rookie contract, $24 million signing bonus for Trevor Lawrence. And listen, Trevor Lawrence has been a winner everywhere he's gone. So naturally it poses the question, well, what type of season will he have with the Jacksonville Jaguars? In 32 games played in college, or actually 36, he was 34-2 at Clemson. Never lost a regular season game, led Clemson to the national title in 2018. Both times, every single year he's reached the college football playoff. So this is a guy that has accomplished so much. And again, he has the 3rd best winning percentage by a starting quarterback who's played a minimum of 30 games dating back to 1978. Undefeated in the regular season. Never lost a single regular season game when he's played. So he's been the ultimate winner. And obviously he's drawn comparisons to Andrew Luck and John Elway. And when you transition to the NFL, and especially for football in general, you can have the most talented quarterback, but it's the ultimate team sport. So you need everyone to be clicking together. A great quarterback can win you some games, but they can't always mask over every single deficiency. Now, when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, the good thing they have going for them is they're in the AFC South, which is arguably the 2nd worst division in football, right in front of the NFC East. Although I do think the NFC East will be better this year. But when I look at their schedule, I mean, look, even John Elway in his first year with the Broncos in 1983 went 4-6. Even he, who was this prodigy, couldn't win in his first season. So when I look at the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule right now, you've got at the Texans, versus the Broncos, versus the Cardinals, at the Bengals, versus the Titans, versus the Dolphins, at the Seahawks, versus the Bills, at the Colts, versus the 49ers, versus the Falcons, at the Rams, at the Titans, versus the Texans, at the Jets, at Patriots, and versus the Indianapolis Colts. That's a tough first-year schedule. And to be honest, I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars as a whole will go 6-11, 6 wins and 11 losses. But this isn't about how the team's going to perform, but how I think Trevor Lawrence individually will perform. Now, if you were to look at the past 5 quarterbacks taken number 1 overall in the NFL draft, it's Jameis Winston in 2015, Jared Goff in 2016. Myles Garrett was taken in 2017. So Baker Mayfield in 2018, Kyler Murray in 2019, and Joe Burrow last year. If you look at all those quarterbacks, with the exception of one in Jared Goff, who was a little bit of an outlier, all the other ones fared pretty similarly over the season. You had Jameis Winston, who threw for over 4,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 58% completion, 6-10 record. Jared Goff, of course, in his first year with the Rams, he had Jeff Fisher as the head coach, who was awful, so I don't look at those stats because we know that we can attribute much of the lack of success to Jeff Fisher. But so when Sean McVay took over in his second season, Jared Goff, 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 62% completion, and the Rams made the playoffs. They won 11 games and lost 5. Now, I'm not anticipating that type of season, but these next 3 are very similar and seem to be along the same lines as what I'm expecting to see from Trevor Lawrence. Excuse me. You have Baker Mayfield, who in 2018, his rookie year, 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 picks, 64% completion percentage, 7-8-1 record. Kyler Murray, in his first season, 3,700 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 64.4% completion percentage, 5-10 and 1 record. And Joe Burrow, had he not torn his ACL in 10 games, he was on path for similar stats. He was at 2,600 yards, nearly 27, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 65% completion percentage. They had a worse record, but the stats were pretty much the same. And so for me, when I look at Trevor Lawrence and I see that he's got Travis Etienne and he's got DJ Chark and he's got Marvin Jones Jr., he's got a couple pieces there. So I predict that he's probably going to throw somewhere around 3,800 yards, probably 22, 23 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He rarely intercepted the ball. He rarely threw interceptions in college. He was known for his accuracy. He'll probably complete 65% of his passes, and I think the Jaguars will go 6-11 now that there's a 17th game added towards the end of the schedule. But even if people, I think he'll finish second in offensive rookie of the year behind Kyle Pitts for the Atlanta Falcons. But even if you looked at Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, he was never a volume thrower. Trevor Lawrence at Clemson was never about just trying to rack up yards, rack up stats. He played as long as he had to and threw enough times for Clemson to win the game. Then Dabo Swinney would pull him from the game in the third quarter when they would win. He rarely was deliberately trying to throw for 400 yards in a game or 350 in a game. Most of the time, he was averaging like 280 yards per game, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in college. Those were his stats. So I think that when you look at the expectations of this team, 6-11 seems pretty optimistic for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think that individually, he'll be great because he's got great pocket presence. He's tall, he's athletic, he's mobile. He doesn't have enough pieces around him to win too many games. And I think that he doesn't have enough. I think he doesn't have enough weapons to be able to throw for over 4,000 yards this upcoming year. But I think he can finish with 3,800 yards. And again, he's always been accurate. That's been the thing touted about him. He's got great vision, puts the ball on the money. Receivers don't lead him. He leads receivers. He throws to an open area that receivers can get to. He doesn't wait for receivers to get fully open and then hit them in stride. So I think he'll have a great season. I just don't think it'll be reflected in his record. But I don't think there's any problem with that.